Hey, everybody. Glad you can join me. Hope everyone is doing well out there. So, while we wait for a few more people to join, a few things I want you to all be aware of. First of all, yes, we are recording this. So, if you want to be able to share it with your colleagues, if you're on LinkedIn, you'll be able to see the recording come up in your feed. I'm sure you can forward that to whoever you want. And also, we are streaming on LinkedIn. We're streaming on YouTube as well. So you'll be able to find the recording there. Will be straight away. It's be up on our channel. Also, if you want to go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, you just need to search for Smart Building Series, and you'll find it. And we post all of our podcasts and live streams on there. So hopefully there'll be some interesting content for everybody. So today I'm going to give a presentation for about 10 minutes. We're going to talk about the topic of today, the landscape of smart building startups. And, obviously if you have comments and questions, you can put them in the chat, both on LinkedIn and on YouTube. And once I finish the presentation, then I can go and take a look and answer any questions. So what else can I say? Basically the idea of today is to give you a walkthrough of some new research that we're about to publish, and it's on the startup landscape of in smart buildings. And this is something we've regularly been doing now for several years, every year updating our view, our perspective of what the state of startup companies is like in smart building technology. It's the first of a two-part series of reports, and the first one, the one that we're going to talk about today, is available for premium subscribers next week, and then I think we're publishing the second part of the report in June. So yeah, let's go. So this is like the rough outline of what I'm going to talk about today. First of all, we'll look at some of the numbers behind what the landscape looks at. So, how many startups are active at the moment, how many have been acquired, that kind of stuff. Second, we're going to look at how we split startups by technology, and you'll be able to see how, some of the different areas where startups are focusing on, what types of technology. Third and fourth, we're just going to have a quick look at what we've calculated is the amount of funding that's gone into startups last year and so far this year, and also acquisition activities. What does the deal flow look like? How many deals how many companies have been acquired? And then finally, I just want to share some thoughts on how I think startups have impacted on the innovation and disruption in smart building technology. Okay, so landscape of startups. So the focus of our research on startups is absolutely on the operational and maintenance phase of the life cycle of commercial real estate. So we're not talking about the design and construction of commercial buildings or the buying, selling, or leasing of property. We're specifically talking about technology to improve the efficiency in running and operation and maintenance of commercial buildings. We also define a startup as a company, a private company that is formed no older than 10 years ago, and focused on commercial and industrial buildings. So, for example, not smart home, and not a subsidiary or an acquisition of a larger company, obviously. So it needs to be a private company. But of course, it can, and it most likely will have had some investment, either from VC or private equity. So in terms of the total number that fit that definition within the scope of our work, we have identified 1,221 firms since 2013. Now, of that, 56% are now still actively trading. 35% have been acquired, and 6% have either closed or are inactive, i.e. that we, can't see that they're actively trading. And finally, 2% have completed or planned an IPO, and 1% have either completed, planned, or abandoned a SPAC, special purpose acquisition company IPO. So those are the headline figures from the research. Then in terms of how we categorize those startup companies by type of technology, this is roughly what it looks like. So we have 4 broad sectors that we've categorized these companies by: physical security and safety, what we've termed prop tech, which we can define more in a minute, because that can mean different things to different people. Building energy management, and finally IoT. So the biggest overall category is workplace management and occupancy analytics. We've identified 118 companies, startups, that we would categorize as offering those types of solutions. As well, the second biggest category is also within this our prop tech sector, and that is asset and maintenance management, with 95 companies. Then the third biggest sector is energy management software, and that's within the building energy management category, and that's at 93. Then the fourth is within the IoT in buildings, broad category, and that specifically at 82 companies is BIoT platforms and systems integration. And then the fifth is actually within the security part of this, and that's the 79 companies that are actively providing video surveillance, video management software, or video analytics. So that's the broad landscape of how these startup companies are spread across the different technology sectors that we've covered within operation and maintenance of commercial buildings. So top line figures then for funding. In the 16 months since January 2023, we've identified a total of 284 funding rounds for startup companies. And that totals 5.5 billion. And that breaks down to 3.5 billion in 2023. And currently a bit over 2 billion already in the first 4 months of 2024. So actually 2024 is looking encouraging. 2023 was very much like a turning point within the numbers that we've collected over the last few years. It was 44% down, or 44% less investment than 2022. And actually 2021 represented the high watermark of the last 9 years, with 7.6 billion in total investment. So, since 2021, overall funding has definitely come down. So since we started tracking the market, we've seen total capital invested in startups in the smart building space, again, fitting our definition, since 2015 is over 37 billion. Then in terms of acquisitions, we've tracked 48 acquisitions in 2023 of smart building startups. And that is a 38% decrease on 2022. And again, a similar trend with investment. In 2021 was a high watermark for acquisitions. We counted 78 deals that year. And also within 2024, the first 4 months, we've tracked a further further 22 acquisitions since then. So very clear trend, I think, there, that funding and acquisitions are down, but still at a good level. So there's, I think, still a lot of confidence in the market regarding being able to get investment. Although of course it's more difficult than it was 2 years ago. The major exit route for startups in this space is still acquisition, and that I don't see is going to change. So last sort of slides from me, I wanted to talk about about generating innovation in the industry. And as I said previously, overall since 2015, we've invested. Institutional investors have put in over 37 billion into companies specifically looking at operation and maintenance of commercial buildings. So can we say that, given that level of investment, that startups have generated the outcomes, that we would expect for that amount of investment and the amount of innovation that we might expect for that level? Can we point to, specific companies that founded either, 10 or 15 years ago that have taken a significant amount of market share and have disrupted the market? Now, of course, that depends on your definition of disruption, but I would say, in my opinion, not really. But as I said, it depends on your definition, and I think we need to be clear about what disruption is. And I think, in my opinion, I've explained it on this side. There are kind of broadly three categories that you can put most technology startups into. So first being enablement, those companies that enable, so their customers are the existing industry and they're trying to capture budgets that already exist. Second, those that replace, so they're trying to replace players in the existing industry. Perhaps they're trying to replace a part of the value chain, or they're streamlining the cost of doing something. And then finally, those that disrupt, and they're trying to create an entirely new category of customers or a new category of revenue altogether. Now, I think, if the rate of innovation in this sector is going to speed up, there are several issues that require our attention. And I've listed 4 of them here. First one, I think the way that commercial real estate technology is specified, procured and delivered is complicated and suboptimal. I think as a vendor, it is really difficult to understand, who the customer actually is and how you can satisfy their requirements. And that really very much ties into the second point. Once you've identified the customer that's going to benefit from the technology, can you also incentivize the other stakeholders to get behind it? So as an example, take real estate investors who own most of the commercial real estate. They are laser focused on net operating income. Third party that might manage that property or their property portfolio is not, and might have different requirements that also need to be met to support the deployment of that technology. And that's just one example. Third, in the operation and maintenance phase of buildings, it's very much measured in decades and not months or years. This does not align particularly well with an incentive to invest in technology from startup companies. So, for example, if the life cycle of a system is upwards of 10 years, I think customers probably want to know that the vendor is going to be around to that long to support it. Yes, that obviously applies more to hardware, but I think it's still relevant to software to some extent as well. And then fourth, undoubtedly, smart building technologies are experiencing good market growth. We do produce research on that, and we can see that these markets are growing. But exactly how much of that growth is available to be captured by startups is not always clear. So for some of the reasons that I've just mentioned, and of course also because there's an existing ecosystem. There are large incumbent companies who maintain significant influence and market share. I mean, look at the companies in this space that have IPO'd that are we would class as startups or quite young. They've a lot of them have struggled to achieve the sales that they anticipated, and as a consequence, a lot of them aren't doing particularly well on the public market. So whilst startup exits to like incumbent buyers, existing market players, is, I think, to some extent, sustaining the current venture capital thesis in this space. It also helps to kind of maintain the status quo. And I think in some respects it makes disruption less likely, in my opinion. So that's sort of a brief overview of that report. This is what it looks like. And as I said, it's going to be available to our premium subscribers next week. If you want details of how to become a premium subscriber, go to our website, memoori.com/subscription. You'll be able to find out more information. Or, of course, you can just email us at support@memoori.com. And then after that, it's going to be available for everyone to acquire. Even if you're a basic subscriber to our website, you can get a 10% discount on all reports that we publish. And just to say as well, we're working on, as part of your premium subscribers also have access to a AI chatbot that we're developing, which is leveraging the power of large language models on our smart building analysis, which I've just shown you some of it. And as I said, that's available to premium subscribers. But if you'd like a demo, then reach out to me. I'm happy to give you one. And finally, thanks for listening, and happy to take any comments, whether you agree, disagree strongly, then feel free. Or if you have any questions, then let me know. So type them in. Let's see. I'll just see if I can bring them up on my screen. Okay. As I said, I'm looking at the chat now. If anyone has any comments, then let me know. I'm just going to look on YouTube as well. Okay. Well, we keep an eye on that. Like, we can keep going for a little bit longer if anyone's got anything they wanted to add. I mean, I would just say I think it's important to bear in mind, the parameters of like what we're talking about here. As I said, what our research is focused on technology to improve the efficiency and optimization of smart buildings and commercial buildings. So that's what we're focused on. So when people perhaps talk about the wider prop tech market, that is different to our definition of what prop tech is, right? We're not focused on some of the other technologies that are being applied to buying, selling, leasing property, or even designing it. Nice. Okay, got a question come in here. What are effective ways for new and upcoming startups to get on your and others' radar. Thanks, Shahil. Appreciate the comment, question. Well, to get on my radar, you're now on my radar. So, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, but also, we, as an analyst, it's sort of our job to try and keep track of companies. And so if you do have news about product releases or whatever, you can always email it to us. And we're happy to read it. Absolutely. And then that can go into our research going forward. We'll make sure that you're included within our startups report. Other people's radar, again, I'm sure, other analysts, I'm sure you can reach out to them. But I think the wider market, or if you're talking more about generating interest in the market or sales, there's lots of events now where you can reach out to potential customers. And again, it depends what your solution is. And as I said before, who you're selling to as well, and how, I think if you, first of all, you need a clear idea of who your customer is. And once you have a very clear idea of that, and who some of the other stakeholders are that will also have to be involved in maybe not just buying and your technology, but making it work within the building and within that framework, then you can then target what events, for example, that you want to go to. I mean, there's just a whole load of events now on facilities management, workplace, property, commercial, and loads of different types of property. There's specific events for technology and property, but also just more general property investment and other events like that. And I'm sure there's also groups active online and different other media outlets. So anything like that, I'm sure you can use those outlets to improve your activity or your reach in the market. Any other questions? Let me have a look back on YouTube. 1 second. No. So I'll just finish off then, if no one has any other questions, just about then what we're going to be doing, after this report. So what I've showed you specifically, the report that we're publishing next week, is looking at the investment landscape and the acquisition landscape. So we've documented that. That's the first report. The second report will be more about landscaping and categorizing all of the vendors that we've seen, and that will be published in June. And then after summer, we're going to be publishing reports on energy management. Specifically, we're going to look at HVAC optimization and software that's being used for that. There's a lot of activity in that area. And then also building to grid software and technology. So that's our research plan for this year. And we will update that as well, probably towards October, November. We'll update you about what our plan for next year will be. One other question here. We also are from my colleague. We also write regular commentary on both new entrants and established players. Indeed, we do. So on our website, you can find articles that we publish on not just startups, but all types of companies in the business. Great. Well, if there aren't any more comments, then I will leave you guys to the rest of your day. No? Good. All right. Well, look, really appreciate you taking the time to listen. And if you want to, if you're watching the recording and you want to add some comment and question, please do. And I'm sure I'll get notified about that. So thanks again. Bye for now.